Now at 6 o'clock, the Summers community is reeling, but is also rallying around itself and a family that lost 4 kids in a house fire. We're going to have the latest on the investigation and show you how exactly neighbors are coming together.
Authorities released body cam video and new details about what led to a trooper shooting a man in Killingley.
Also, New Haven's mayor has a new idea to help solve the city's housing problem. We'll tell you the ordinance he's proposing that could add thousands of living options.
All local, all morning. This is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
6 o'clock, good Thursday morning. Thanks so much for joining us here on Fox 61 and Fox 61 Plus. I'm Erica Arias.
And I'm Tim Lammers. If you're just waking up, especially up in the northern part of the state, you might see some snow on the ground. Let's show you what it looks like in Washington, out in the Northwest Hills. Even some parts of Hartford, Tolland, Windham counties waking up to a nice little coating on the cars. Maybe a tiny bit slippery. Nothing to really worry about, but great mood setters.
Yeah, just a little taste of what's coming this weekend. I was surprised to see when I headed out to my car this morning.
It's not quite an appetizer, you know, that would
Not
be
quite.
a full first plate. Maybe it's an amuse-bouche, just a little, you know, a little sampler of what's to come. Just a little taste, because there's more coming. Good morning to you. Nice to have you along on this Thursday. A few flurries, a few snow showers, higher elevations. We saw a few flakes outside just a few moments ago. Not a big deal at all. But we have the mild temperatures exiting, and the weekend can be summed up for all you snow fans out there with the word snowtastic. We'll talk about that coming up. We have a little bit, you can see, we were talking about this yesterday. It's going to be just this little narrow line of snowflake activity. Once it moves out of your area, you're just about done. There's not going to be much of this that holds together, but we'll keep an eye on it for a few flakes between now, let's call it 9, 10, 11 in the morning, and then we'll shut that down. 35 in Hartford, 40 in New Haven, so clearly the surface temperatures are not going to help cause any trouble, although it's 31 in Wilmanic, 30 in Torrington, so it's close in the high elevations. Partly cloudy skies later on. Still get to the lower 40s, still a bit above normal, but that's it. After today, the numbers sink, and we set the table for what is going to be more than an appetizer or a salad plate. It's a full main course of snow, and we'll talk about who's going to get the big extra large supersized plate coming up in just a few minutes. Can I bring in any more restaurant references in a first weather, Rachel Piscatelli?
I think you did a great job.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think you did a great job on that. I'm not even going to try and add anything to it.
Okay.
I think you covered all your bases.
Thank you.
All right, good morning. It's 6:03 right now. And on the roads, things are running smoothly. We had road work that has already wrapped up, so just take it slow on the roads. We have some snow showers out there that may lead to a couple of slick spots, not widespread issue. Noticing right now over in West Hartford, delays have not started to build in the area of 84, just out by exit 42 in both directions. So volume is rather light. We'll check in with Bridgeport, where we typically see our delays, and things are running smoothly there. So your drive times right now, New Haven to Rhode Island, it's 62 minutes. New Haven to New York, it's 53 on the southbound side of 95. To America, travel speeds are just around 57 miles per hour.
Hi, Rachel. Thank you. Well, the big story this morning is still in Summers, where 4 children were killed in a house fire late Tuesday night. An awfully large tragedy for a very small town.
Yeah, people there are working on ways to help the families and the communities get through this difficult time. Neighbors held a candlelight vigil near the house that went up in flames on Quality Avenue. 4 children, ages 5, 6, 8, and 12 died. The group said that a prayer for those who survived and for the first responders who fought the fire and tried to save the children. A relative of the victim said that the support is giving them some comfort. Now, earlier in the day, officials provided an update on their investigation. They do not know yet what started the blaze. Fox 61 has learned that the home had antiquated electrical wiring. Fire officials say the home's layout created challenges fighting the flames.
The house was an older construction with numerous concealed spaces, which allowed the fire to spread rapidly and took a considerable effort for us to extinguish. One of the entrances was difficult for us to get in, so it took some extra effort and work for us to get into the back door.
Now, 12 people lived in the home, a family of 4 and a family of 8. 3 of the survivors were hurt, 1 with serious burns. The support from the Somers community has gone well beyond the prayer vigil.
Yeah, Fox 61's Brooke Griffin joins us live from Somers now. Brooke, how long did it take for people to start finding some other ways to help?
Really only just a couple of hours. I mean, by the time the sun came up, some of that support was already making its way through the rounds of social media, those Facebook groups, and a lot of tangible support. The food, clothing, other services was already popping up and trying to make it into the hands of the people that have been impacted by this fire. Not only those directly impacted, but those who have been emotionally impacted as well. And even that vigil last night you mentioned, I mean, this is the direct impact of the emotional side of this. You can see that a lot of people came out to bring candles, flowers, stuffed animals. A lot of that's covered in snow now as of the past hour, so it may be a little harder to see, but the impact is definitely there. You can see that a lot of people are just trying to process this at that point. Now, in addition to this emotional support, people also came together right away to figure out how they can help. Many businesses now collecting money for those families. Summers Pizza donated pizzas to the elementary school yesterday as well. Claudette Consignment is also holding a clothing drive for those that have been impacted and really lost everything in this fire. The manager there says that he was just devastated by this news and he wanted to help in any way possible.
I do love it when people come in and just come together as a community and donate to someone who was just lost, not just a house, but their children.
And he says just by the time they opened their doors yesterday morning very early, people already started bringing in bags of clothing and hygiene items, really trying to help in any way they can. But if you want to help as well, you can go by Claudette Consignment during business hours any of the next few days. He says he's going to keep this going for as long as it's needed, as long as they need these donations. They'll have those doors open. You can also donate money. There are several GoFundMe pages that are happening as well, and just tip jars that have been placed around Summers. You can find those. You can see them typically with a sign on the front that says donations for the fire victims. A lot of things that can be done to help those that have been impacted. Live in Summers, Brooke Griffin, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Brooke, thank you. A lot more help is coming, I'm sure, as well. All right, 6:07. Moving on in Madison, police said they're still trying to figure out what led up to a 3-car crash. We know that everybody involved had to be taken to the hospital, although at this point we don't know exactly how many people that is. Police said it happened around 4:30 p.m. yesterday on Route 80 near Race Hill Road. You can see one car rolled over and had huge damage on the passenger side. Firefighters had to also cut open a car to make a rescue. And we're still working to figure out how bad the injuries are and who exactly was hurt.
The Inspector General's office has released body cam video showing the moments leading up to a shooting in Killingly. Now, the shooting happened Saturday at a gas station in the Dayville section of town. Now, we do want to warn you that the video that you're about to see may be difficult to watch, so we want to let you know beforehand. All right, now here you see Trooper Joseph Godbout stopping Ruben Mueller. He was wanted for a robbery. Now, Godbout asked Mueller for his license, and then Mueller runs. A few seconds later, Godbout deploys his stun gun. Mueller falls to the ground. After a few minutes, he gets back up and runs across a parking lot as the trooper tells him to stop. Now, at one point, Mueller runs into a pickup truck and then falls. You see there, Godbout tries to use his stun gun again, and that's when Mueller reached toward his feet and pulled out a revolver. You see that weapon there. Now, at that point, Godbout fires one shot at Mueller in the chest. He is currently in the hospital being treated. The incident remains under investigation.
Well, this morning, the FBI said a bomb threat that was emailed to officials in Connecticut and other states was a hoax. The threat, though, forced the evacuation of the state capitol yesterday morning. Police said an official got an email claiming there were explosives in the building, but officers looked and never found any. The FBI said this happened in at least a dozen other states, and the bomb threats follow a series of false reports of shootings at the homes of public officials. Today, New Haven Mayor Justin Elicker will announce legislation that he said will create thousands of new housing opportunities. The proposal calls for allowing property builders to build what's called accessory dwelling units, or ADUs. These are residential spaces that sit on the same piece of land as a single-family or multifamily home. They can be separate buildings. Those are sometimes called granny flats, or they can be added on to existing buildings. Fox 61's Lindsay Kane will have more on this story come up later in this hour. In Simsbury, people have been speaking out against a plan to add hundreds of apartments along Route 10. The town zoning committee held a meeting last night about the Talcott Mountain South project. It's proposed for the southern end of the former corporate headquarters of the Hartford. Neighbors said that new project would change Simsbury's image. They also said the developer's other big project, Talcott Ridge North, already creates too much traffic, and it isn't even finished, they say, after years of work.
One of the primary reasons we're here tonight is because of the impact of decisions made by boards and select boards a decade ago.
We believed from doing our research that this was a town that cared about the quality of life, that this was a town that cared about the image that it put forward.
It has been reported that more than 100 children could be added to Simsbury's school system if this latest development gets approved. Well, we have new details this morning about plans to revitalize the site of the old New Haven Coliseum. Governor Ned Lamont and Mayor Elicker announced that a Life Sciences and Technology Center will be built on the site. The state is providing a grant worth nearly $1 million to get construction underway. That project is expected to create 750 jobs when ground is broken this summer.
Governor Ned Lamont is going to be in Meriden today to talk about his vision for the Hartford line. Now, his office says the line has had a rebound in ridership, exceeding pre-pandemic levels in the last 2 months. Lamont will meet with transportation officials for an operations update. Then he's going to lay out his plans to increase development along the rail line. The new mayor of Hartford is hosting a pair of events to celebrate his inauguration today. Mayor Arunan Arelampalam is going to speak at the city's Interfaith Service reception this morning. That's at the Old State House. And then tonight he's going to host the Believe in Hartford Ball at the Connecticut Convention Center. Arelampalam took the oath of office at midnight on Monday to become the 68th leader of our capital city.